Now you can do it.
So this morning, my kids were taking their spelling exam, and my co-teacher came over and said, "You need to send 5 kids at a time to the math class." I'm like, okay, but they're in the middle of an exam. She's like, "I'll let you know when I'm finished sending my kids, and then you can send yours." I said, okay. So she comes over. We have 12 minutes until French class. And she says, "Okay, here's what you guys need to do." And she tells them all in Spanish. And then she tells them they need to go in the order of their list number. I think she did it to make everything easier. And she tells me they have to go. They can't have more than 5 at a time. I said, okay. Well, if 2 came back, I sent 2. If 3 came back, I sent 3. So every time a child would come back, I would send a child. We had 3 kids left to go, and one of the kids comes back. "The teacher says not to send more than 5 at a time." I said, "Were there more than 5 of you in the classroom at that time?" He said, "No," which I didn't understand why she said it. She wanted me to send only groups of 5. But these kids were going to her classroom to get books to take home that were from the library. So they don't have really a library, but they're sending these books home with the kids. They're giving them away to the students.
Probably because they don't want them. They don't want to manage a library. Because
the library that's as big as our living room.
No. I know it was a whole bunch more books before, and that space between the math teacher's room, SEP, and my rooms, that whole space, that was all books.
Oh, you have a math teacher downstairs.
That was all books. The hallway that goes from my hallway through SEP, that was all books. Mm. See, now those books that are there were in the library. Oh. I mean, I don't think they really want, or they're working to not have, or they want to get rid of the books so they can buy all new books.
Well, they had a bunch of new books delivered last week or the week before, whatever day I was in there. They had a big bunch of new books. And I said to the one girl whose English is really good, and I said, "It's too bad they don't have any English books." She said, "They do, but we weren't allowed to take them because we're too young. They said we could only take the Spanish books." I said, "Well, that's kind of silly since you're learning English."
That makes sense.
She said, "That's what I said when I asked for the English book." I will crack this up if they send those books with the 6th graders that I said were inappropriate for that age group. Because it looked like they were getting rid of all.
Why do you think they would send anything with 6th graders? Our kids don't go to that room.
They don't go to the...
They go there if they don't get picked up by their parents and they're slated to stay after, they go to the library then. That's the only time they go to the library.
Mm-hmm. I was told that all the kids were going to be able to go and take books.
Oh, so they're just getting rid of their books.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, it sounds like they're getting rid of their books to make room for other books.
Maybe.
But that doesn't make sense because it seems like you would keep the books you have to build a library. That's what libraries are. They're collections of new and old books. They're not just new books because if we get rid of them, maybe they will buy them. But that's just not the way it's supposed to work.
No.
You're supposed to have a whole bunch of books and all different editions of books and all that kind of stuff. I mean, anybody who loves books and is a librarian, trust me, they would shit a brick if they knew that schools were just giving away books.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, I get duplicates.
I don't even get duplicates.
No, I get duplicates because they just bought all these Animal Farm books. I may be the first and last person to ever use them. So
maybe
that being the case, 1 or 2 could go into the library. The rest of them, let them go.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense to let them go. You put them out in the wild. Let them roam free.
Yeah, I have 4 of the first Skippy John Jones books that I don't let anybody touch. They're in my desk because I don't want them ruined.
Right. But that's just, school, books. That's the way books work.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so it's Thursday. I got my Modelo today because...
Oh, I can't drink alcohol.
Why not?
Because I will be asleep before.
Well, yeah, that's the point.
No.
I got a good 8 hours last night.
I did
8
not.
hours.
Speaking of which, just because I am downstairs, snuggled up under the covers on the sofa, grading papers, does not mean that you don't say goodnight.
Oh yeah, it does. When I was literally asleep, and I barely made it up the stairs.
What the hell?
Barely.
No, that's not okay, sir.
You know what? It was last night.
I was so hurt. I was like, what?
So hurt.
I came upstairs expecting that you'd probably be asleep in your chair.
Yeah, I was more than asleep.
And I was like, where's Aaron? Keegan said, oh, Daddy went to bed a long time ago. I said, wait a minute, what? And he didn't say anything to me? She's like, yeah, he does that. And I'm like, not to me, he doesn't. He might go to bed on y'all, but not to me.
I don't go to bed on my kids.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, man, I had to go to sleep. I was hurting. Went to bed at 8 o'clock, got up at 4:53. 8 hours and 25. I had a total of 26 minutes awake last night.
Listen, you sound like me the other day because I was asleep by 8:15. I could not even cope. Last night, I got 5 hours and 33 minutes. 28 minutes of sleep, or awake.
Yep. So, I don't want to hear it.
But the night before, I got 8 hours and 28 minutes.
I was getting my sleep on.
I was knocked out.
So, today's a Modelo day. Modelo.
So you can be asleep by 7 o'clock.
If it happens, it happens. I can enjoy the sleeping.
I only have...
Because I got to go in tomorrow and go blind trying to grade these papers.
I only have 48 more tests to grade. 48. That's it.
I mean, that's it. Oh, man, please. I need to go back through almost every single child's notebook again to see if they updated it or they finished any outstanding work. I have to finish the set of final exams that they took today. So, I'm not...
Well, today's exams are the only ones I have left to mark because the kids had French the last class of the day, and I took part of the second afternoon class in all of the French class and all of the Voceo and whatever time before you came to my classroom and finished the grammar from yesterday. But I still
finished all of my tests from Tuesday.
I still have to enter them into the computer, though.
Oh, I have all that done.
I do not.
I got it all
I don't
done.
have time for that.
I was working hard. I got my shit done. But I think it's...
But you have how many kids? 100 kids?
About-ish.
And
Some classes are kind of... There's only one class of 25, so... It's somewhere between 85 and 100, somewhere around there.
And you gave 2 exams this week?
Yep. Yeah, I didn't do what I did last time. Last time I did one exam that counted on 2 different things. So it was literally one class period for 2 exams. Whereas this time I did 2, because I mean it's supposed to be, it's when you think about it, it's half, because midterm should be smaller than final.
Yeah.
So the final's a little bit longer. It's really not that long, but it's a little bit longer. But just what was interesting today in looking at them take this spelling exam, which who takes a spelling exam?
Weird. It's really weird.
I had a question on there that was about vowel sounds. 6th grade. Vowel sounds. Think of any word that has the same sound as this vowel in this word. That's it. That was it. So if it was a short I, you could write any word that had a short I in it. You didn't have to circle that I or do anything. Just write a word that had a short I in it.
Had you gone over these things in class?
Phonics? With 6th graders?
Vowel sounds, yes.
Unfortunately, yes. I had gone over this.
Yikes.
I did the whole alphabet.
Oh my.
With sounds of letters.
And my kids know the sound
You know
of
what
the
the
letter.
kids told me?
They don't know the name of the letter.
You know what the kids told me? This wasn't on the
Review sheet.
review sheet. I looked at them. I said, "This is phonics. I'm giving you points."
They couldn't
It wasn't
do it.
supposed to be on a review sheet. You should be able to sound words. It's like, what?
Aaron.
What kind of child looks at you and says, "I can't read that"?
What?
In 6th grade. Ask me how to spell things on a spelling test. In 6th grade.
That's awesome. Look, so the first group, I had them take the exam and then I gave them the 5 words at the end that they had to spell. And then I told them, now go back through your exam before you give it to me and make sure that you spelled your 5 words correctly. See if those words are anywhere in your exam. So the second group, I gave it to them first. And one boy was looking at the paper and he was like, wait, whale? Whale? Mrs. Farr, whale? I said, stop right there. Don't say a word. You're taking a test. You can't talk while you're taking the test. And he looks at me and he takes his paper and he's like, pointing, right at the top is the word whale, and it's written there, and that's their first spelling word. And afterwards, he's like, did you do that on purpose? I said, I did not make this test. He said, wow. And then sphere was one of their words, and sphere was on the page before. Almost every single word that was on their dictation was in the spelling test.
Yeah, that's kind of how you have to do it.
And I was like, okay, guys, be careful. Make sure that you're copying the words from the word bank exactly. So the one word was 2. Like, I have 2 chocolates. And, I don't know, out of 24 kids, 20 of them wrote toe.
Up toe.
And I was
What
like,
up toe?
go back and look at this again. Please go back and look at all your words. Make sure that they match your word bank.
Yeah, I think y'all missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are thinking is not a thing.
Well,
unfortunately, I don't think we're going to find a place where that is a thing.
Well, the British teacher and I were talking yesterday because I asked her, I was ridiculed for not projecting the exam on the board and then reading the exam word for word, every single question and every single option for an answer to my students. And I asked the British teacher if she does that. And she said, no, but now I know why my 4th graders aren't able to think. I was like, okay, just making sure.
Yep. Yeah, I don't really think that they are from 1st grade through 6th grade at this particular school. They are not focused on raising learners.
No,
And
they're
we
raising
are.
puppets.
They're I think they have good intention. Like, they want to be better.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to get there.
Yep.
Or the system itself keeps them from getting there. Something is
It might be
in the
a
way.
combination of the two. Because I watch my Spanish co-teachers, my Mexican co-teachers. I watch them and I see their intent, I see that they really want to be able to do these things with the kids and they want to, stretch them and teach them, but then they don't. This one can't do that and this one can't do that, and it's going to be too difficult, or it's going to take too much time. And instead of saying, okay, it might be difficult, but how can we bring the slow learners along with us? Or yes, this might take time, but how can I incorporate this into other subjects? They just drop it.
Yeah, because they take the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
And I think that's where part of the issue is it's like there's no fight.
Yep.
And you might have all of the educationally relevant things to say about why this should be done over that or whatever, but it doesn't matter, because if you try to bring it up, no one's listening, or they just throw back, we can't do that because of SEP.
Yeah.
It's like SEP's in the way, or the person running SEP is in the way, or then a manager is in the way. It just doesn't matter. Somebody's in the way at some point.
Yep.
And that's what then stops it. And it's like, well, if you do that a couple times, well, then nobody's just going to try. Nobody's going to say anything anymore.
Yep.
And they're just going to say, well, whatever, this school just doesn't want it. So I'll just collect a paycheck.
Yep.
And I think that is the position that a lot of the teachers are in at this school.
Yep.
And I don't think that anything is happening at the higher levels. They're still cleaning up a mess.
Yep.
So it's like, honestly, I don't think they're doing I think they're doing a disservice to the students, but the students don't necessarily know it.
Yeah.
And their parents don't really know it. It's like, if just me and you were running a school, it would be very different in how much time and energy goes into just intention alone. Just making sure that what we're doing makes sense for why we're here and our stated purpose, and it all fitting together. I don't think that's happening. So that's an issue in itself, because how do you say that this is the mission, but nobody's following it? So then why do I have my kids here? Like, what am I doing?
Well, and that's what
because
the
I would be
directors-
asking. Well, I'd be asking those questions as a parent, big time.
Oh, yeah. But that's what the director was looking at. The one day he was like, why is this all over the school in every place, but we don't do any of this?
Yep.
Why is this on every document, but that's nothing. We don't follow one bit of it.
I think it comes down to there's a marketing group.
Yeah.
And that marketing group is putting out the word, but the word is not trickling down to all the other people below to say, we're changing this, we're making this, we need to find a way to incorporate that, and we need to sit down and collaborate. See, that's what I'm saying. To make it all fit together like puzzle pieces, you have to have the collaboration. And they don't want the collaboration because then it weakens, and in a lot of ways it does weaken anybody in management.
Yep.
Because it's not you. The management is not you're basically, any good manager knows that they're not needed.
Yes.
Because if you're a good manager, you've taught your people exactly how to do the job, and they don't need you anymore.
Right.
But a lot of managers fear that phenomenon, so then they make everybody dependent on them for whatever. So and that becomes part of the problem. Like when I was managing, it was like, if I don't show up, it will all get done. Everything will get done if I don't show up. Yep. And that means that I'm a good manager, but a lot of people can't do that.
I wonder, actually, I'm pretty sure, if that's why my current coordinator doesn't really make any effort when it comes to informing me or, giving me the things that I'm supposed to have, or even talking with me, because I don't need her.
Right.
I don't need her. If I don't get it from her, I will find it from someone else. Or I just won't have it and it's going to be on her anyway because she didn't do her job. But I'm also not going to run around like the rest of the women do and try to make her look like she's doing her job. I'm going to point it out every time. You were told to give me this. You didn't give it to me. I don't have it. I don't know what to do with it. So that's on you. You're the manager. I'm not going to chase you down for it.
I think that's the other thing. I said that to my students today. You were told early, at the beginning of this week, all the stuff you were missing. You were told last week to work on any missing stuff. Mm-hmm. So you've had 2 weeks. Yesterday we went and did all of you had the opportunity to do all of your old spelling tests. I will not chase you down.
Nope.
If you have a 0 in the book, it's just going to get changed to a 5 and we're going to walk on. It's not going to have, I'm not looking for you. I don't care if you didn't do your work because you've had 2 weeks to get it done. Outside of, this is an extra 2 weeks out of the regular day that you were supposed to do it. And it only took 20 minutes to do in class and you chose to play.
Yeah. Which is crazy to me that you have 6th graders that play.
Oh.
I cannot even imagine being in 6th grade and doing the shit these kids do.
Yes, but we were in middle school.
We were in middle school. Yeah.
So the expectations are this particular school sees 6th grade as a transitional period. And that's how it's treated. So they get to do a couple of things that they do at the higher levels. They do the other things that are at the lower levels. They are treating it like a transition. Like what they did in some of the schools in Michigan by separating 9th grade away from middle school and high school.
Yeah.
Same thing. They treat it as a transition. And I don't necessarily like that because I like to throw the fuckers into the deep end and watch them flail around because that's what happened to my ass. Yep. And I went from a private school to a public school.
Shit,
where I didn't know anybody. Yep. I had never gone to school. Put it this way. I won't say I didn't know anybody. I knew 2 people because they did the same thing I did. They went from the same school to the high school. So they, but in middle school, I mean, I don't know. I was in a private school, so middle school felt more like put it this way. When I got to the high school, it felt like I had gone back to middle school.
Yeah.
Okay, so whatever they had done, it made it seem like we were way far ahead because in middle school I got C's and D's. When I got out of middle school, I was a middle of the road student, average student. When I got to my 9th grade year, it was like, this is what happens at high school? Because we did this like a year or 2 years ago. I mean, it felt like I had gone backwards and I was like, oh, well, shit. I can get good grades here. Right. So I did. I wasn't like a A+ student or nothing like that. But because I saw it as, well, if I didn't have to work that hard to get good grades, then I could do all of the other stuff, the extracurricular stuff, and I did. I did basketball. I tried to do baseball. I did marching band. Yep. I did concert band. I was a trainer for the track team. All of that stuff that I did it because I knew I didn't have to work that hard just to get the same C and D or C and B. Yep. It wasn't all that difficult for me. So there's something to be said for, a rigorous middle school life.
Yeah.
And I don't think
expectations that the teachers have as middle school teachers versus what these kids are dealing with when they're elementary teachers. And it's not like they keep the 6th grade teachers in the 6th grade. They bounce them around to different grades every year.
Well, my thing would be what I would do at this school, since everybody outside of me, everybody is essentially an elementary school teacher in this system. What I would do is I would have them I would have all the teachers march with all the students 1st through 6th. I would have them, and then when you got to 6th grade, you rotated back to 1st.
Yep.
And you just kept doing, because you could track the kids better because they don't do any real tracking.
Yep.
They do a fake kind of tracking with, oh, we're going to give a test and we're going to write down how many you got wrong. But none of that's real tracking. That's just, it's something so that somebody can have a job and somebody can get numbers.
Yeah.
But it's really not tracking the students, because if they were, I wouldn't have a student who's been at the school all this time who doesn't have letter recognition, and I can't call out an S and he writes down a C. That wouldn't happen if they were actually being tracked, if they were actually being watched. So all the tracking that they're doing is just a waste of time. It's just to justify whatever they do in their government things, and then to generate a whole bunch of numbers that have no meaning, because honestly, if they were looking at actual grades and progress, you would never bump all low grades up to 5s.
No.
5 out of 10. You would never do that, because you would want them to see where the students actually are in order to affect real change for the following generations.
Well, and this whole thing with frequency error, they want us to count every single solitary question that is wrong, like for every kid, for every test. And I just went through the math with my students today. That's 192 tests I have to do, and each test has a minimum of 5 pages, so that's like 962 pages of paperwork I have to go through and then mark every single thing I mark wrong. I then have to count it on another sheet and then input that into the computer. And it just doesn't make any sense. Because what the fuck are you going to do with that information? The test shouldn't be the same every year. Yeah, so why does it matter?
See, but that's what I'm saying. But here's the kicker. When they change things in what they teach, well, then those numbers then have no meaning.
Exactly. So why
they're starting over every time. So it's just it literally is just a justification for someone to have a job, or many someones to have a job that has no real bearing on education.
Yeah.
Because they could be doing so much more with the time that they have. They could be replacing a lot of these really ridiculous subjects with what the students need and taking them further.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, you got this next to Canada, nobody's closer to the U.S. They don't have an English program.
They really don't.
The whole world has English programs.
Yep.
Mexico does not have an English program.
No.
So when you think about it in those terms, how are you really helping your students? You're bumping up all their grades across the country, inflating their grades, and then you're using those same grades to admit them to universities.
Yeah.
And then you're using those grades to admit them to universities outside of your what?
Yep.
I mean, any university, why would I ever take Mexican students knowing that all of their grades have been bumped up? At least if they were failing. I might have a failing student in my university because they got bumped up and they did the bare minimum kind of thing. No, that rubs me the wrong way, because I did work pretty hard to not fail out of high school and get good enough grades to get accepted to multiple universities coming out of high school.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, that's not, and honestly, our university system is way different because everybody can be accepted to a university somewhere.
Yeah.
But, I just don't get this idea about education that we're going to pay lip service to all of these things, but we're not going to really push the envelope on the achievement or the ability of our own people.
Right.
That's something about that seems wrong. It's like we want the next generations to be better, but while never letting them be better.
Right. Never expecting that they're going to be better. Never pushing them to be better. because they don't push these kids to do anything. You know, I looked at my coordinator when she was like, you need to project it. You need to read every word. And I looked at her and I said, no, I'm testing them. I want to know what they've learned. I want to know how I taught. This is not only an assessment of their knowledge, but it's also an assessment of how I conveyed the information.
Right. But they're not, I don't think they're looking at what they do in the classroom critically. They're looking at some other metric. But like when I'm looking at my students, I am always like assessing and reassessing and assessing on a minute by minute basis based on what I'm getting back from the students at that time. Because if I need to change or I need to explain, or if that kid over there looks just a slightly confused, I need to know and recognize that and ask them that question. And if they still are going to be reluctant to talk, but they are confused because it's written on their face, I need to be able to switch things up and address that right then and there, so that they don't walk out of the classroom feeling like they've lost. Right. Like they are lost, but they have lost. Yep. No, that's not. You don't want any child to walk out that way, no matter what their age is. But I don't think that kind of reflection is actually happening in all of the schools we've been in by the local people. We've always come in and said, you should do this. But they aren't really doing that because they're looking at it like, oh, we're generating all these numbers and then somebody else is going to tell me how good I was as a teacher. It's like, but you should already know that. Right. Just like you should know Johnny over there doesn't understand what you're talking about. Yep. You know?
Yep. Like I have a kid today. One of my things is when I give these exams is raise your hand. I will come to you. Raise your hand. If you have a question, I don't care how silly you think it is, you raise your hand and I will come to you. This child asked questions. I answered the questions. He told me he understood. And when I got his exam today, he had a 2.6, and that was with the bonus points. And I just looked at, like, I know I told him exactly what he needed to do. I know that I went over this part with him 3 times. So how did he not do any of it right? Not one single thing. I even had him underline the directions and read it to me and tell me what it meant. And he still didn't do it right.
I don't know.
I had kid after kid after kid. There's my co-teacher wrote this exam saying, you know, use color for the capital letter and for the punctuation. I was like, all right, that's what you want them to do. Whatever, I don't care. I had them underline that sentence. Told them they're going to need their colored pencils, so get them out, leave their pencil cases on their desk, open them up, just leave them there. Mm-hmm. They don't have colored pencils, they can get some from my desk because I have a big bucket. 10 kids didn't do it. That means it's all wrong.
Yep.
The whole thing is wrong.
Yep.
Because you didn't follow directions.
Yep.
Even if the punctuation is correct, even if you capitalize the right letter, it's all wrong.
Yep. See, and I guess I'm having to undo a lot of their bad, what's the word? Not bad behavior, but bad habits. I'm having to try to undo a lot of those.
Their conditioning.
Yeah. Because
their behavioral conditioning.
You know, I sat there and I there was one section of the test that in the first couple classes, a lot of people kept asking me about. So the next couple, I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and let me just announce these things.
I do those too.
So, okay, I'm standing there. I tell them. I make sure they all understand. I sit down. It's like the second page. So, a few minutes into the test, kids start getting to the second page. They all have the same question again. Yeah. It's like, guys, we just talked about this. Listen. But they're not ever made to be forced to keep the information that they're being given. It's like oh yeah, you said that thing, but what was it that you said again? It's like, if I was mean, I wouldn't tell them.
There are times when I'm just like, I just said it. What did I say?
I do it. I may do that with, say, a classwork where they can walk over to their classmate and ask them.
No, I did it today.
I can't do it. You can't do it on a test because they can't talk. So it's like,
I did.
now I'm forcing you to fail.
Right. Well, no, because I had 4 kids ask me the same question back to back. So I stopped everyone, showed them an empty page and said, this is how you do this. This is what this is. This is what this means. I said, does everybody understand? Yes. Are you sure? If not, I can go over it a different way. Let me know. No, we've got it, Mrs. Farr. Kid raises his hand. I give the paper back to the boy, and another child raises his hand, and I walk over, and he literally asks me the same exact shit I just went over. And I looked at him and I said, what were you doing when I was talking? I was listening. Okay, so then what did I say? You said blah, blah, blah. I said, so do you know what to do now? Oh yeah. Then why did you call me over here?
Oh, I have one better. I had a kid come to me. The instructions were 3 lines long. It wasn't a lot. It was just 3 lines. 3 lines. He chose the last line to read.
I'm sorry, what?
Literally. He's like, I don't know what to do here. I said, okay, read the directions to me. Because honestly, it's ESL, essentially. So it's possible that a child could read the whole thing and not understand.
Yeah. That's probable more than possible.
Fine. Read the whole thing to me. The child sat there and read the whole thing. When he got to the end, he went, oh, and walked back to his... I was like, dude, what were you... He was like, he read 1 line. He didn't read the fill in the blank with C if the word is spelled correctly. Fill it in with I if the word is spelled incorrectly.
That's it? That's all I had to do?
No, that was it. That was the whole thing.
For love of Pete.
And it was just... And some kids literally got it all the way backwards.
What?
Like, when I went to grade them, you can tell they understood, but they did it backwards.
Ugh.
They did the correct... It's a mirror image of the correct answers for that section. And they're going to kick the shit out of themselves when they see that, because it's like, it says really clearly. Yeah.
I had PH words today. They had to correct the misspelled PH words. And so this child raises her hand, Mrs. Farr, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Will you look? And I looked down, and the word was spelled phone, F-O-N-E.
Oh, yeah.
And she had copied it, F-O-N-E. I said, read the first line to me. Using PH. And she looked at me, and she's like, never mind, you can go. And I was like, are you sure? She's like, I should read the directions.
Yeah.
And it's written on the board. Number 1, no talking. Number 2, read all of the directions. Number 3, follow all of the directions.
If you don't read the directions, you're not going to read the directions.
No. But I go over them.
It doesn't matter. They're not listening. See, this is what I've seen so far being at this school, and I hope this is not a normal for the country.
I would love
because when we were, and I guess maybe this is our fault, but when you were in China, you could extrapolate a small classroom across the entire country. You could look at a classroom and know that if this is what was happening in Wuhan's classroom and this kind of school, that when you looked across all the other, this is exactly what was happening. Yep. Because in China, they don't really reinvent the wheel. They just keep doing the same
thing. It's like a carbon copy.
Right. Everything's copied. Mm-hmm. But here, you're hoping that this can't be. Well, it cannot be this bad all the way across the country.
I didn't have any of this in Thailand. Like, this wasn't something I experienced in Thailand.
Which part?
This whole... Because I dealt with international kids, mostly.
I know. You're saying you didn't deal with...
I didn't deal with what? The carbon copy, the not thinking, the puppetry. I didn't deal with any of that in Thailand.
Well, Thailand regular schools, yes.
I didn't work in a regular
Yeah,
school.
well, I did.
I worked in an international school, and then I worked in an international learning center where all these kids went to the British international schools or all these different international schools. So it was a totally different.
You were getting an international.
I was getting
internationally focused
education.
Whereas I saw, walk into a middle school classroom like this, 6th grade, walk into the classroom, and you can't walk from the back of the room to the front through the classroom.
Yeah,
I had to walk outside the classroom every time I wanted to go from the teacher desk to the front of the room.
Yikes.
Because you could not walk from one end to the other because they were packed in literally like sardines with those old wooden desks
with the splinters.
With the wooden chairs. No,
Yeah.
they didn't have splinters no more. Them things was old. They were too old to have splinters. They had been worn.
Well, and
worn smooth.
I only substituted in your school in the kindergarten, which was a weird situation.
Yeah, but that was a good school.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the regular school.
I didn't have any regular schools. I had international schools, and I had the Buddhist monastery kindergarten with all the little kids.
Like I said, you got an unrealistic view.
I really did.
Of Thailand schools, because Thai schools are a lot like Chinese schools, but they're a little more British than Chinese schools.
Yeah. Yep.
Their curriculum, what they want them to learn.
Yeah, but I was even teaching an American curriculum.
Right, exactly.
So mine was totally different than.
Yeah, they were. I mean, you're talking about 50 kids in one classroom.
And I had
basically you're not ever teaching.
60 kids in the school.
and they were using like blackboards and chalk.
Yep.
And they were basically, all they did in those schools was write things on the board. The kids had to copy it in their notebook, and then they checked their notebooks for completeness and good handwriting. That's what they did in Thai schools. That's why the kids were trying to get into my program when I was doing IEP stuff.
Yeah,
because it was totally different than what they were going to be getting in the other classrooms.
Yeah. And they had to go through first graders going through a damn interview process to get into a program.
Oh no, their interview process was the most rigorous interview process I've ever seen for anybody, because they had to talk to every single teacher that they were going to have the following year, and they were in kindergarten.
Yep.
But they had to go through every teacher and then me.
Yep.
And I didn't have a deciding vote or anything. I just tested them and then gave them the scores. But every subject tested those kids.
Yeah.
And
that's why those are your smartest kids in the world.
Those are the smartest kids I've ever had in any school.
Yeah.
Was those first and second graders.
Yep.
They're still the smartest kids I've ever. I had kids in that first and second grade class smarter than some of these sixth graders here.
Oh yeah, my first graders in Thailand are way smarter, way smarter. They can't listen. My first graders in Thailand were probably smarter than your sixth graders are now. They were much more capable. Yeah, but I'm not talking about Thai kids. I'm talking my international kids. They're probably smarter than maybe some of the middle school kids.
Maybe. I'm telling you that there's something to be said for real internationally focused education, because you don't have to negate anything.
Well, there's also something to be
or
said.
Or leave out anything.
There's also something to be said for children who were raised abroad as world school children, as TCK children. They have a different...
Yeah, but inside of, say, Mexico, I get what you're saying, but inside of Mexico, that's not what Mexican parents are going to be able to do.
No.
They'd have to leave the country to be that. I'm talking about inside of your country. How do you make your educational system better? How do you take advantage of of all of these expat teachers out here that understand internationally focused education,
right,
and bringing that instead of just trying to import IB. Because
right.
that's where the problem is. They're trying to import something, but they don't have the teaching staff that really understands
right.
the focus of that kind of
Yep.
system.
Nor are they capable.
They're capable. They're not unwilling.
Okay.
They're capable.
I think some of them are incapable
I don't think so.
changing over.
No, I don't think so. I think anybody who wants to keep getting a paycheck is capable.
Oh,
They're
well.
capable. They've gone to school. They've gone through some kind of educational training.
Right.
They're capable.
Some of
that's
them have
not
been
the
there
point.
for 40 years.
Yeah, but that's not the point. If they're capable. It's just, are they willing to, one, try a new thing?
Right.
But maybe even if they're not willing to try a new thing, there should be some, I would say, some connection to the past inside of a culture. You still need those teachers. See, everybody at the school can't be internationally focused when some of the kids will never be international.
Right.
They need to learn the local stuff. So you still need those local style teachers, but the education that, like the full education that the student gets, should be local, national, right? And then it should also be international. So you can put both sides together. The internationally focused people should probably be expats.
Yeah, yeah.
Only because they're the ones that have an international focus.
Well,
they've seen what more than, say, a local teacher has seen, because even if that teacher is 40 years in the game here, my 5 or 10 years internationally beats them in an internationally focused school because they don't understand what's going on in China or Thailand or Germany or
Venezuela, or
whatever.
Argentina,
They have no
England, or
concept
Spain,
outside of their own, say, language base.
Right.
They won't know what's going on in those other places, and they may not care.
Yeah,
so
right.
they don't. But maybe they don't need to do that for math.
Right.
Maybe they don't need to do that for, say, the local history class or civics style class or those kinds of things. They need those local teachers. But for those international ones, when those kids walk over there, the whole world in the school should change.
Yeah. I mean, this school has a lot of foreign teachers, but I don't know that
they're not utilizing them as internationally focused teachers.
Because they've got, a guy from Haiti, someone from Cameroon. They've got someone from Argentina and Venezuela. They've got British. They've got American. I want to say they've got. I don't know where the French teacher is from. The one in the elementary school.
I have no idea. I thought she was from here.
I think maybe she is, but they have all these international teachers.
No, they have all these
expat teachers.
Expat teachers,
but they don't.
Not the same thing.
They don't utilize them to the best of their ability.
Not at all.
Because having all of these expat teachers could be a huge selling point for this school.
Oh, I'm sure it's being sold.
I don't think it is.
Oh, I'm sure it's being sold. That's not the problem either. It's not about selling anything. It's about what is happening in the classroom.
Yeah. And
when I walk into the classroom, and I do this multiple times in a day. When I walk into the classroom and I stand in a spot and I'm not talking, that means shut the fuck up.
Yep, I went through that today.
You should not even be talking. You shouldn't even be thinking. But that's an internationally focused teacher because what we're saying is what we are about to do is important, and you should see it as important, important enough to be quiet.
Yep.
While there was no one there, you talking hurts no one.
Right.
But the fact that as soon as the teacher walked in, you should have stopped.
Sat
you should
down.
have been ready to receive whatever it is they were about to do. And you don't get up, walk up to them individually and ask, what are we going to do today?
I just want to hit them every time. And I feel bad because there are times when I'm just like, if you don't sit your little motherfucking ass down, I'm like, please sit down, and I'll tell everyone at the same time.
Exactly. But see, this is internationally
but in my
focused
brain, I'm like,
education.
sit your little ass over there and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but these expectations are not local. These expectations are from somewhere else, and that's the internationally focused part. They are not, because they don't know that side, like what other teachers are going to expect when they walk into your classroom. You know, no, I'm not gonna clap my hands. I'm not gonna whistle a song. I'm not gonna wave my arms. I'm not gonna do any of these damn things.
Black power.
I am going to walk in and expect that you realize the gravity of the situation you are now in.
Shut
the teacher has come in.
Mouth.
It's time to actually be ready now and have whatever materials that you have for this class. They should be on your desk ready to go.
Yes.
When the teacher walks in. But see, that's what we think education is.
Yeah. I had a child today. Everyone was talking. They'd just come in from lunch. They were just, finding their seats, whatever. So I stood up at the front of the class, asked them all to get out their things, get ready for their spelling test. These kids didn't move. They're just talking, having a good old time. So I went over and I turned off the lights because I'm not going to yell. I refuse to yell. I just kind of stood in the front of the class. And all the kids got really quiet, but this one child. And she just stood there continuing her conversation with her back to me. And so I went up to her and I said, so what does it mean when I stand in the front of the classroom? What does it mean when I turn off the lights? What does it mean when I close the door? And she's like, that I need to be silent and sitting down? I said, so why are you choosing to stand here with your back to me talking? I said, sit down and give me your homework notebook. I need to send a note home to your parents.
See, I'm getting to the point now where this whole idea of homework notebooks is now getting in the way of education.
Everything.
Because you have to stop everything to sit down and write some message.
Yeah.
I've started taking the notebooks and taking the notebook, putting it on my desk, and when I set them to a task or do, maybe it's last few minutes of class, I walk over and I fill out the notebook. Yeah. Because why should I stop doing what I'm doing to write in a notebook? What is everybody else doing in the class now?
Yeah,
everybody else is not doing anything.
I don't do it during class. I do it at the end of the day or the end of...
Yeah, but I don't have an end of the day.
Right, or the end of the class time, because I'm not going to stop in the middle of my lesson because this little fucker won't shut up.
I know, but we only have 40 minutes.
I know you do.
Because it takes them 5 to 10 minutes to sit down.
Oh, yeah.
Be quiet.
I love this whole thing where we have this program. We go to the library and the kids are supposed to have 30 minutes in here. And they only allot 30 minutes. They want us to teach for 20 minutes, before or 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after. And I finally looked at the coordinator and said, it takes them 10 minutes to line up. I will tell them, line up to go. We have to go now. Get out of your chair. Get up. Move. It takes them 10 minutes to line up. And it takes them 10 minutes to sit back down when I get back. So that's the 20 minutes you want me to teach them. I'm teaching them to line up when I tell them to and to sit down when I tell them to. But they don't listen. You're the only one with this problem. And my Spanish co-teacher was like, no, she's not. We all have the same problem. Yeah, she's just the only one who admits it.
Why is it that everywhere we go, everybody wants to blame the expat that has come to their country to teach? They always want to say, oh, you don't understand. You can't do it. You can't do it the way we... It's like, no. We're doing it a different way, probably out of choice. Yep. We're choosing not to do it your way because... maybe we found a better way. Maybe we have a certain level, like we have a certain set of things that we like to do that's different than yours. Or we've done it your way and found out it doesn't work over the long haul.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And it doesn't help. It doesn't help the students. It doesn't help the school. No. It doesn't, because when and I used to hate the idea that China used to put into its students of everything they did was to make China better.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. We've come to a place where it's totally opposite.
Yep.
They don't even think about their own futures.
Nope.
Like, what does it mean to be a certain way? What does that even mean next year, the year after, the year after? They're not focused on any of these things.
They don't look ahead.
But they're not even looking ahead to the next term.
No, and it's next week.
Right.
Like, when I was told how I was supposed to be projecting these exams, next term we'll do it a different way. We'll make them do it on their own. And I just looked at her and said, why? They're capable of doing it now this way. I took the training wheels off already. My kids are already riding two-wheelers like big kids. They don't need me to read every word to them. No. We'll see when your results come back and they're lower.
Where do they get the "we have to"?
I don't know.
That's one of the things.
They coddle these children like they are infants. It is sad. Like, I listen.
But maybe that's what they've always done. That's their culture.
Because I was listening one morning, the first grade teacher. She's so loud. She is so loud. It sounds like she's in my classroom. But I was listening to how she talked to the kids, and I couldn't believe. She was like, okay, now write a number 1 and put a dot. Then you put your finger and you write an A. And then you put your finger and you write T. And I was like, why the hell is she doing this? These kids are 6 years old. They should be able to write a sentence.
I have 6th graders that can't write sentences. So no, that what you just said is just not true.
My kids can write a sentence.
Most of my kids
They couldn't
cannot.
when I got them, but they can write one now.
Yeah, well, most of my kids, they have a very hard time writing sentences because on this spelling test, I put 5 of the questions, 6, maybe 6 different words. Write a sentence with this word.
Oh, no.
Most of them didn't even start with a capital letter. Okay?
But
did not end with a period or question mark or exclamation
I know
point.
why they can't do that.
Well, no, they can do it. The problem is because they're in Spanish, they're doing it. That's the thing. If you told them to write the sentence in Spanish, they put punctuation at the beginning, they start with a capital letter, they write the sentence, and then they end it with punctuation. That is not where the problem is. The problem is for some reason, English is different for them, which is not.
Listen.
Because all you do is take the punctuation off the front, and you've got an English sentence almost.
In the grammar yesterday, they had these sentences, and they had to correct them. Put a capital letter if it was necessary, put the punctuation. And I said to them, please remember that in English, we don't do upside down, exclamation point, or question marks. If you do this, it's wrong. One kid did it on every single one of his sentences. And I just marked every one wrong. Every single one of them. I didn't even correct the rest of it. You did exactly what I told you not to do, because if you did, it was wrong. That's only in Spanish. And we have been going over that particular thing for a month. And he still did it. But he's so smart. He's such a leader.
Yeah, I don't.
His parents kept telling us how smart he was and what a leader he was. He's not.
I'm hoping.
He's listening.
I'm hoping. I feel like I'm like the other teachers now. I'm hoping that it's not like this at other schools in Mexico. I really am, because there's no way I'm gonna continue to teach in a system like that where it's just not. That's just not what education is for me, you know.
Right.
And they're totally. I wish they were backwards, because it'd be easier to turn them around.
Yeah.
They're not backwards. It's like they're just not being held accountable.
Right. And that's the key. They're not being held accountable. They're not being taught to be be responsible or help.
I mean, we're not even getting to self-reliance yet.
Or, independent. They aren't taught any of that stuff. And the teachers are the ones who feed into that nonsense that they're not capable. And so then we have to dumb it down. Well, they're not capable because you haven't given them the capabilities. This is on you, adult. This is not the child.
Yeah, I agree.
Keegan, you have llamas on your feet.
Is your mama a llama? Do you have a thing today?
I don't have a thing today.
What?
I don't have one. I don't have a new one. I could plug an old one.
Oh. I'm up here looking at pictures, and I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with the child's lip, and I seen that on the Instagrams, and she tells me my lip split. Like, man, you better put on some chapstick. What the hell? Here you go. Here's some Carmex right here.
I have some Chinese chapstick that I keep next to the bed because sometimes at night it gets really dry in our room.
Clean fingers. You bet your fingers better be clean now.
And so I keep this chapstick next to the bed just for emergencies.
Mm-hmm. Rub it in.
The Carmex.
The Carmex, man.
Carmex is the crack. How long have you had that tub of Carmex?
And look, I barely use the damn thing.
You've had it at least 3 years. At least.
Barely used it because...
You didn't need it in China, really? Unless you were on the airplane or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Not in southern China. Didn't need it at all.
Yeah, when you fly, always have some kind of lip balm.
But I was carrying the one. I don't know where. Oh, there it is. I carrying this one. I have had this. This is the not the Carmex in the tub, but the Carmex in the little squeezable
like the
thing.
Vaseline stuff.
Yeah, the Carmex one. Look at it. It don't even say Carmex no more. It's just saying.
It's been through the washer a couple of times.
Yeah, it's still half full.
Look, I carry around a Burt's beeswax.
We don't talk about that stuff.
The vitamin E and peppermint.
That stuff's not vegan.
It's
we don't use that. We don't use that.
I use it.
No.
I don't use it.
I'm gonna start using agave and just smear that across my lips every day.
And then wake up with ants all over your face. That would be awful.
That'd be great.
These ants are crazy. Like
These ants are not crazy.
These
ants are ants. They're nothing special.
It's just weird. Like we'll go days with no ants, and then you move something and bam.
Did you say no ants? Because that's so not true.
We had like 3 days this week with no ants, and then all of a sudden there were like 1,000.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not true.
I didn't see any ants.
Exactly. You didn't see them. But they were there.
Why are there so many ants and it's so cold outside?
That's why there's so many ants.
What?
They're coming inside.
I don't understand.
You don't understand ants coming inside?
No.
Because it's cold outside?
No, because they're supposed to be hibernating now.
Hibernating? Why hibernate when you can go inside and get food? Right. Get your eat on. You'd do the same thing if you was outside.
Look. I felt like I was outside all day. Every time that door opened in my classroom, I just wanted to cry.
Well, essentially you are.
It's so cold.
It is not so cold.
Aaron, it was 40 degrees this morning.
It was? Because I didn't feel that.
It was 40 degrees because I woke up and my phone was like, it's 40 degrees. And the high is going to be 63. That's 63 right now. It says unhealthy air quality. That's the first time I've seen that in Mexico.
Probably because ain't nothing moving. Like there's no wind. So air quality is all of that was one of the things that I saw about the city was that the pollution goes up because there's no wind coming in and blowing anything away. So it's just kind of sitting over the city being collected over time. I saw that before we left.
It's going to be in the 70s this week and I can't even wait.
But it's still going to be in the 40s at night.
At night, yeah. Oh, one of the kids were like, Mrs. Farr, what's the temperature today? And I opened my app, and it was on Shanghai. She's like, no, it's not, it's not this. And I said, no, honey, that's Shanghai. And she's like, but I need, and I said, that's China, love. She didn't understand that it was China. She thought it was like different part of Mexico.
It's 81 in Phuket.
73 in Hong Kong. 36 in Beijing.
Fuck Beijing.
And it's snowing in Grand Rapids. It's 32 and snowing.
34 in Detroit. Miami 76.
I don't miss any of that. I don't have it. I have a lot of China still on my thing. Foshan, it says it's 74.
Yeah, the whole weather thing is hilarious.
Right.
People not realizing it's like, yeah, it's this ain't cold, people. Because like this morning I wore my coat because I wanted to wear something that I could break in half.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I like that coat. The next coat I buy will be one just like it because I can unzip the inside, but I can wear that inside.
Yep.
And it's not in the way like a coat would be in the way. And so I wore it this morning, but when we left, it was far chillier. It felt chillier outside than it did this morning when we went out there.
The kids were like, Mrs. Farr, it's supposed to rain today. And I was like, okay. Does that mean we have to stay in for recess? And I said, are you going to play outside in the cold rain? No. And then they asked if they could go to the bathroom. These little people were putting on their parkas and their hats and their gloves to go to the bathroom.
Well, I said it yesterday to myself. I got to carry my umbrella to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, they were doing that yesterday too. Every time somebody had to go to the bathroom, they were borrowing this one girl's umbrella who sits by the door.
Yeah, but you've got some, when you walk from my room to the teacher bathroom, you're outside.
Yep, you're completely
it's
exposed.
open.
You're completely
And it's just
exposed.
like, why would they make us go? As I was walking, I was like, is there another way to go?
No, there is not.
There is.
Well,
you can walk the back way.
Down around the...
over to the cafeteria and walk all the way around and come back out, come up the other side.
Walk up 4 flights of stairs.
No.
Up and
You
down,
just walk
up and
all
down.
the way around and then you can go to the bathroom. But it's like, why would anybody do that? Why would they make a rule that we had to use a bathroom where we had to walk outside
in the rain,
in the elements just to get to the bathroom? Yep. And some people are coming from 1 and 2 floors up.
Yeah,
and have to come all the way downstairs to walk in the rain again.
I know.
Are you correct? What? Who makes a rule like that?
My Spanish co-teacher has to do that. She's one of those teachers on the 2nd floor that has to go down to the 1st floor because we're not supposed to use the bathroom on our floor.
I'm sorry, but...
And I told them they kissed my ass because I'm not walking up and down those stairs.
I know, but they shouldn't have a rule that says we're going to put our teachers in the rain to go to the bathroom. We're going to not have railings for our teachers to come from that rain and have to walk up wet, slippery
shoes,
steps with no railings. Why would any, not educational, but just any business open itself up to that kind of liability?
You're asking the wrong person because I told them point blank, don't think I'm going to go down there because I'm not.
I know, but that's not the point. The point is not defiance. The point is you don't make rules like that.
I don't understand the rule anyway. I don't understand why they have...
Because apparently they thought they had, at some point, something happened between some teacher and some student in the bathroom.
What?
What else? What other reason why you would never want boys and men to be in the same bathroom together and girls and women to be in the same bathroom together when in every public place they go to, they're going to be in the same bathroom together. Yeah. So why wouldn't they want it here? Because something happened or somebody was accused. Yeah. Something happened in the past that said, now we have to separate the adults from the children, even though they're already separated by sex.
I went to the bathroom this afternoon after school, after I took the kids to French. And I went in the stall, and there was no paper. And there were two older girls out in the thing. I was like, ladies, could one of you hand me some paper, please? Sure, Mrs. Farr. And they handed me some paper. And I'm thinking, what would I do in a situation downstairs in the
You'd be
teacher's
there by
bathroom?
yourself.
I would be stuck in the bathroom.
Be there by yourself, or you be shitty ass walking back upstairs.
Ew,
Scratching
gross.
and stuff.
Now,
All
I would
itchy
say,
and everything.
I would say that if I had to go to the bathroom downstairs like that I would be Chinese style and always make sure I had
you'd take paper with
and
you.
wipes or whatever with me, because
absolutely.
you can't run that risk.
Well, of course. But yeah, I get that. See, this is where the whole intentional thing comes in.
Yep.
There may have been a reason, but most likely the reason is gone now, hopefully. Yeah. If the reason is gone now, you don't keep a rule like that.
No.
Plus, every floor should have teacher facilities as well as student facilities. Yep. And if you can't make that happen, then you need to make different decisions.
Yep.
Because either one end or the other end of the floor, you put in a bathroom or you designate a space for the teachers.
Yep.
We used to have, I remember with the one school I worked in, and only the teachers had the key to the one bathroom.
Yeah.
Became weirdly awkward because it was unisex.
Oops.
So if somebody didn't feel like knocking,
but
they had a key in their hand and the door was always locked. So it wasn't like you could, I think you could actually engage another lock so that the key didn't open it. But sometimes, maybe you get in, you might be in a rush, you ran in, you didn't lock that other lock. Somebody goes and opens it, and now you're just in a small room. It's just you, because I think it was just a toilet, a sink, and maybe a urinal. That's it. That's all that was in the room. So, and it was small. It was very small. So, I mean, basically, somebody opens that door, they're in the room, essentially.
Hi.
But here's the thing. That room was literally not next to, but it was, in order for a teacher to use that room, they had to walk by the girls' or the boys' bathroom in order to get to that room, which means you had people being able to monitor what was going on in the bathrooms.
Right.
Because in the middle school and high school, kids do all kinds of funky shit in bathrooms.
Yeah, they do.
Stand around, talking to each other, doing things they're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you walked by and they were standing there, get your ass to class.
Yeah.
Go. You shouldn't be here. And it was like, it became a thing where you could monitor just by needing to go to the bathroom. You were like a bathroom monitor for those few minutes. And teachers were always in and out. So then you're always sort of monitoring the bathrooms. Yeah. Well, who monitors these?
Nobody.
We had a kid put a whole roll of toilet paper in a toilet this week. They lost their toilet privilege. They can't use it now. They can't use the whole bathroom because it was one toilet and one sink. And it was right next to our classrooms. Now they got to go use the first grade bathroom.
Ooh, and those ones are tiny.
And I'm sure there's going to be problems at some point because
sixth graders
you got sixth graders over there.
With first graders.
It's not about them being with first graders. That's the problem that they're trying to solve. That's not the problem. The problem is sixth graders being sixth graders.
Yep.
If they're going to put a whole roll of toilet paper in this toilet, what do you think they're going to do when they have lots of rolls of toilet paper and lots of toilets?
Yep.
They didn't teach them responsibility and self-control.
Nope.
So when they feel like throwing lots of paper in the toilet and flushing it and letting the water flow over and laughing about it, because one day the toilet was overflowing and it was falling outside of our classroom.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
What the hell?
So, okay, whatever. Guess that's what that drain is for down there. Just let the toilet water just flow to the drain. I'm going to put a little rubber Nemo on that motherfucker.
That's gross.
I'm telling you.
That's gross.
These are, I think, in a lot of ways, students are being failed by their teachers all over the world.
Yeah.
Because the school's focus is different than the needs of actual people in the world.
Yes.
And only the upper, like the cream of the crops of all these students are getting good educations.
Yeah.
And everybody else is basically being babysat.
Yep.
And then they become the workforce, the other part of the workforce. And I think a lot of countries are just keeping that as a model. Like, we recognize that, because, even George Bush came out with this ridiculous No Child Left Behind thing. But knowing 100% you're going to leave a lot of children behind. Yeah. There's no way to keep them all. Because if you did, they're all going to need jobs. And once they all need jobs and there's no jobs for all of them, they're still going to be back working at McDonald's.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. You had these master's degree people with fucking jobs
at
Starbucks or at McDonald's
or AutoZone.
And not management.
Right. Yep. Look at Marlene's husband. He had his master's degree, working on his PhD, was downsized from a job he'd been at for over 20 years and could not get another job because he was too educated, too overqualified.
Yeah, that's a stupid thing. There is no such thing.
And because of his age.
Yeah, well, that's age discrimination then.
Yeah,
but there's no such thing as being overqualified. You're either qualified or you're not. If you're qualified to do the job, do the job. Why would you try to stop someone? If that person is willing to take, say, $15 an hour to do your $15 an hour job, why are you telling them they're overqualified? You're telling them what you're saying is you should be making more money so you can't be here. Yep. It's like, but I'm not asking for more money. I'm asking for the $15 an hour.
Yep.
So I need the $15 an hour right now. I'll take that.
Yep.
No, you can't be here. You're overqualified. It's like, what? What does it matter? If I'm flipping burgers and I can spout Shakespeare, what does it matter?
Right, no kidding.
Yep. Who cares?
I agree.
But I think then management becomes threatened by those very people because they know they're now managing people that should be managing them.
Yeah, that's really the problem. Like, I didn't get a position here that I really wanted because the director was intimidated with the fact that I have early childhood education experience, and I've been teaching early childhood for, 16 years?
100.
And she
1,600
doesn't have any educational background. She's got a PR background.
Yeah, I don't get that either. Is the people that are management in schools but have no educational background. Whatever happened to the idea of promoting from within?
That I don't understand either.
I always thought, and I've seen it happen, but I always thought you were a teacher for a time, and then you made a choice. Do I want to go into administration or do I want to just keep teaching? And at some point, teachers made a choice like, okay, I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to get this extra classes for,
administration.
Yeah, administration. And then I'm going to be slowly moved. Like I'm going to become like almost like an apprentice at my school. I am going to still be teaching, but I'm going to be taking on responsibilities of the vice principal over time. And when the vice principal either gets elevated, moves out, or whatever, then the school now has someone who now knows how to do that job. And then I stop teaching and we get another teacher and then the cycle continues.
Yep.
That's what I always thought.
Me too, because that's what I've experienced my whole life.
Of course, vice president goes to principal or whatever.
Right.
Goes to whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it was like the kind of like the natural movement if a teacher wanted to go into admin, because you couldn't really go to school and come into admin because you don't really know. You don't understand teachers. You don't understand anything about what you might understand business, but then that leaves you not equipped to deal with teachers. You might be a good manager of people, but then you're not really understanding, say, parents and students and all the other bullshit you're about to deal with.
And the dynamic of the teachers within their teaching teams. And
disciplines and all of that stuff. Yeah, see, all of those things, that's what you get by being a teacher. And then when you move out of that, you can now be way more effective as this. Like I said, this is all like inside of America. But the things that I've seen outside of America, none of that's happening. No. It's people just being thrown into positions that they're not ready for. They do not understand.
Especially in China.
And everywhere. That's what they're doing in all of these places. They're just throwing people into these positions that really, like, you have people that are backpackers that are heads of people that don't have degrees that are making more money than we do and doing jobs that
they aren't qualified.
How could they ever be qualified for?
Right. They've never taken one class outside of high school. How are they qualified to be the director of education or the director of English at a school when this motherfucker doesn't know the difference between there, and there?
But see, that's where I'm saying that I think that's where education has gone, where they're not this is not important anymore.
Right.
And it should be. But it's not. It's not. They're just not focused on this. And for a while in the States, it was always, or not always, but it was for a while in the 2000s, it was, let's make schools more like businesses. And they tried to turn all of these principles into business people that were going to look at bottom lines only, and that's how they were going to deal with their schools. And that was a problem then.
Yeah.
Because you had these tone-deaf people that were coming in making decisions, and was like, why are you doing this? Why are you saying I can only make, have 5 pieces of paper a term? It's like, what world did you come from? You might be trying to cut costs. This is not where you do it.
Right.
Because this is how we teach, or
this
is what we
that
use,
you
or whatever.
Have a coordinator who has been teaching in this same environment for as long as she has, because she knows the ins and outs, she knows the pitfalls, she knows what it's like to be in the classroom, she knows the amount of work that you're expected to do and how you just simply cannot do it.
And that we don't have time to do it.
However, mine doesn't have that. She was only here for 2 years before they put her in that position. And she doesn't have any idea of the ins and outs of the classroom, but yet they keep
I thought
piling.
She was a teacher.
She was a teacher in this school for 2 years, and then they moved her into the coordinator role.
But what about
she wasn't,
before?
She was a Spanish teacher. I don't know what she did before. She taught here for 2 years, and then they moved her to a coordinator position, and she didn't know all of the things that she was supposed to know before they moved her into that position. And so she makes all these demands of the teachers.
I love the demand thing.
Like this week I was supposed to create a schedule for the parent meetings for the end of the month. And I was supposed to do it all on my own. And my co-teacher said, but she's giving exams this week. And she said, so what? She has to do it. Everybody has to do their own. So my co-teacher was like, okay, so this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to do. And this is what you need to do once I've finished it. And I'm like, okay. And apparently, I'm not the only one she did that to. She made all 4 of the new teachers make these schedules, but never told any of us how we're supposed to do it.
What I don't understand is, if you're going to coordinate, why don't you coordinate?
That would be work.
Because
because
if you're going to call yourself a coordinator, coordinate.
Yeah.
Because honestly, none of what happened during that particular meeting should have ever happened.
No, it should have already been done before we even walked in
I could
that
see,
room.
because what they did is they came in with a certain set of information. This parent wants to meet at this time. This parent wants to meet at that time. So they had some of that information.
Right.
Then they had these children, or brother and sister, so we want to put their things, next to each other for the parents' sake, because we don't want to put them on different days and all that kind of stuff. Makes perfect sense. Totally down with that. Put them at the same time, or, give them the time to go from one to the next. Okay, cool. Once you did that, then apparently they were just filling in the names, right?
Yep.
Why couldn't that have all been done? We should have been just given lists.
Yep.
Because once you figured out this child must go at this time so the parents can go to the next one at that time, and you just laid it out together, 3 coordinators should have been able to sit back and go, okay, we got this child and that child and that child and that. You don't go and have every teacher sitting there having a conversation in one room trying to figure out, I've got a kid in 4A and you've got a kid in 6C and they blah, 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 and what time, and having all this freaking chaos.
Yep.
Just to do, and having all 3 of them standing still, doing nothing,
Yep.
when they could have sat there and had it all done and said, okay, here's your schedule.
Well, and
Because
then
that's what I would do as a quote unquote coordinator. That's what I would do as a manager. I would have already had it done. Why would I waste my teacher's time doing a job that I can do? They need to do a job. Their job is to teach.
Yep.
So I'm going to take away all of that other BS from them, because that's not necessary. That's not part of what they should be focused on.
Do you have to write these handwritten notes for every student?
Yes, everybody does.
Why can't we type it?
I don't know.
Because I'd be done. It could be so much easier.
Well, I'm sure I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand why it needs to be handwritten, because if somebody has to be, if their life depends on reading my handwriting, they're gonna die. Flat out. I don't write anything. I keep telling people, I haven't turned in any written homework or any work since high school.
Yes, it's like 9th grade.
Since 90s. I'm sorry. Well, since the 80s.
Yes, it's the 80s.
Okay, I have not turned in I have not been allowed to turn in anything that wasn't typed. So why would I want to handwrite something for parents and their child and comments? It's like the dumbest thing, but they think it's smart. It's like, no, it's not. It's going to lead to miscommunication, misunderstandings. What does that say?
Yep. Well, and then you've got to use
And don't
it
tell
as-
me to write it in cursive, because nobody will ever read it again.
It's true.
Because my cursive is, oh, God. I stopped writing in cursive. Oh,
Look, I have
Way
to get
back.
a new pen before I do this, because all of my pens, I've used them so much, they're all dying. I cannot even use the same pen to write an entire note.
That's the other thing. They want to use old school fucking 1970s Bic pens.
When we
that,
go to the-
that fucking you write one page and your whole hand seizes up.
Listen, when we go to the mall
Forget the
tomorrow,
gel and the Glide and all that shit.
when we go to the mall tomorrow, we have to get pens. And
I've
we're going
never-
because
but
tomorrow's
I've never-
Fantastic
but
Beasts.
I've never seen them here.
They have them in Chedraui.
Then why didn't you get some?
I remember when I was in the aisle.
Remember
When I said, I know I need to get something, but I can't remember what it is? That's what it was.
I'm telling you that I just hope that this is not Mexico. We were in China. We had a term. This is China. When we were in Phuket, they would say, this is Phuket.
They would also say TIT.
Right. This is Thailand.
Thailand.
This is how it is.
This is the bullshit you're gonna deal with.
This just normal. I hope this is not Mexico. Because if this is Mexico, I don't have the.
We're gonna start walking around talking about Tim.
Yeah, I don't have the will to do this again in another country. It'll be essentially
Fourth.
the third time we've had to deal with this
Yep.
mediocrity.
Yeah.
It's not inability.
No.
It's just a choice to not be able.
I
It's a choice
think-
to not do things well.
I think you should either look at trying to become a director, which means if we're going to stay in Spanish-speaking countries, you have to be able to speak Spanish. Means you have to get out of your head and let it come out of your mouth.
Well, I do sometimes, but I don't have a lot of the words.
But
I literally don't have the words
I know,
because
but
I've never had to learn them. Like how to talk about certain things, like in education, I never had to learn in Spanish.
Right.
So I don't have the vocabulary for a lot of that stuff.
so maybe we take a class.
Oh God.
You can do it online.
I don't want to take a damn class.
Mango languages, man. Mango languages.
But that, like I said, I need specific. I honestly, it's not that. What I've noticed listening to people is, it's not the words. It's the not being direct. And I'm very direct.
Yeah.
And this culture does not want direct. They do not want problem solving. They don't want to fix
Yeah.
things. And that's who I am. I will come into your place. I will learn your business, and I will find all of the ways to fix it and make it better. And I will do it so fast that you'll be like, this guy's full of shit. There's no way he could understand it this quickly. And then 2 years later, you're going, wow, we should have done what that guy had
Right.
said. Because, yeah, he was right. This is where we are now because we didn't do X, Y, Z. That's the position I've always been put in. And I everywhere I go, that's what I do. I've been doing that since high school, where I could walk in,
Yeah.
just see it, understand. Once I ask my questions and I understand it, okay, what if you try this? What if you do that? And I was doing things like helping other people with things that they were experts in.
Yeah.
And most people get turned off by that, or they get really scared because they think they're going to lose their job and they want to fire me because that's, they feel threatened.
Yeah.
But, I need to find a situation where people really want someone to come in and help them find strategies that work for their organization that they're gonna, be receptive to.
Right.
Because that's where it comes down to. Most of the times what I've seen is they are not receptive to the newness, whatever that new thing is. And it's like they want to shoot it down before it gets going. And it's like, no, let's talk about it. Let's hash it out. Let's figure out how to make this work.
Right.
And they're not really trying to do that here. No, but at any level, they're not trying to do that. They're not doing that work. They think a person is supposed to come in and fix it.
Yeah.
Instead of, you are part of the solution.
Yep.
You can fix it on your own. You don't like your classroom the way it is, tell those other students to shut up.
Yep.
Don't let them run over your class.
Yep.
You don't let a couple people destroy your class. And that's why I always tell them. These kids, they always want to walk in and tiptoe in and, teacher, may I pass? First, let's start with the pass thing. No, you're not passing anything. Second, it's your classroom. Come in.
Yep.
You don't have to tiptoe in. It's your room. I'm standing here. Come in. I'm the only thing in here. Come in.
I love when they come to my classroom at 6:45 in the morning. Mrs. Farr, may I come in? No. You have to stand in the hallway all day. And then they come in. And I'm like, quit asking me this. We've gone through this enough.
Here's
Just
the other thing.
walk into
This
your
is where you're
classroom.
supposed to be.
Right. Why are you asking me to come in when you know you have to be in here?
Right. You're not allowed to be out there. So
Bring your happy ass in here.
come on, let's go. Get to it. Sit
And
down.
then they walk into the classroom. They put their things down. and they are in there 30 seconds. Mrs. Farr, can I go to the bathroom? It is 6:45 a.m. I don't give a shit what you do. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said that
Have
to a girl
fun.
today. Because it was around the same time, a little bit less or a little bit later, and she asked the same thing. Can I go to the toilet? I was like, what time is it? And she looked and she was like, oh. I was like, yeah, you don't have to ask. You're not even supposed to be here yet.
Right? I'm like, I'm not working till 7:30. Feel free. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't.
And
And
they don't
honestly,
have to pee. They just want to go see if any of their friends are there yet.
yeah, but here's the other side of that. When do you tell children they can't go to the bathroom?
I never tell them they can't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, why waste the time asking?
My favorite is that now we're not
teach 'em
allowed
how to
to
go.
have more than one girl out at a time or more than one boy out at a time. So what do I do if I've got girls who are like, Mrs. Farr, I have to go now.
You send them to the damn bathroom.
Can I just go upstairs or can I go downstairs if somebody's in this bathroom? I'm like, just go to the bathroom. But then you can't let the kids out. So I'm going to let them piss their pants on the floor? I don't think so.
And then you have a whole nother kind of problem because when parents hear my child couldn't go to the bathroom because you have this dumb ass rule that they can't go to the bathroom 2 at a time or 3 at a time. It's like, guys, if you're going to do that, park somebody in the damn bathroom.
Yep.
Let them be the bathroom police.
Well, and I have a child in my one class that she has kidney issues. Like, she takes medication every day for her kidneys because she was born with small kidneys. And I'm going to tell her no.
I know the feeling.
I'm going to tell her she can't go to the bathroom whenever.
I don't think I have small kidneys. I think I have small bladder.
You have a small bladder.
But no, you don't tell nobody. You got to let kids go to the bathroom because usually by the time they ask, they've got to go.
Yeah, they're dancing.
There is no asking and I can wait 3 hours.
Right, I can wait 10 minutes till that person is done doing what they're doing. Playing in the bathroom.
Honestly, the whole bathroom thing, why would you want to control that? Like, what do you think you're going to get out of that? You're going to get kids that now have to bring more stuff in their bag because they're going to have to bring an overnight bag with them. They're going to have to bring clothes.
Yep.
Because you're going to force them to pee on themselves.
Yep.
Why would you do that? Like, why would you ever want to create a school that going to the bathroom is a problem? What you should do is you should have people, like I said, that are hall monitors, even though there are no hallways. They need have eyes and ears.
Well, that's
to
what
know that
the nanny is supposed to be for.
What?
That's her.
But aren't they running around doing other stuff? Like they're not.
Look, she rotates.
We had kids that were lying about going to see the music teacher or going to see the speech teacher.
Uh-huh.
They were lying about going to see her, but they were walking around the building. Nobody ever sent them back. Nobody ever said that they were out there just walking around. Nobody ever said anything. We had to find out that the students weren't actually going to see anyone when that teacher found out that that's what they were being said about, what was being said about them. And that teacher was like, no, they never came to see me. It's like, wait a minute. So then where were they? What were they doing? Nobody knows. You see, but that means the school is not like a school.
No. We get the email from the weekly 30-minute thing. And
30-minute minute?
The 30-minute minute. And in it says that the kids are running through the hallway and we need to make them stop. And Aaron, I watched some big-ass fucking middle school kids. I mean, they look like high school kids. These kids are so big. They were running through our hallways. Okay, we don't running through past where the music and the Chinese classroom are to go then up the stairway to the third floor. And
so in other words, they ran by the office of the head of the elementary school.
Yep.
Okay, keep going.
But they're running up the stairs and I'm thinking, What the fuck are these kids doing? One, in the elementary school like this. But 2, why are they running? And 3, why is nobody saying anything to them?
Well, they're not in the elementary school, though.
What?
The side that the music teacher's on is middle school.
The 4th grade side? That's 4th grade across the hall from the music teacher.
Not across the hall.
Yes, it is.
Not across the hall. On the same side, down the hall. That's middle school.
I understand.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're running through middle school then, right?
No, they're running through the elementary school.
No, I'm saying they're running through middle school to get to the stairs. The stairs that run down the central middle of the school.
Aaron, that's the elementary.
No, what I'm saying, the elementary doesn't own the stairs.
No.
Everybody uses the stairs.
That's the elementary hallway. If the 4th grade is in that hallway.
The 4th grade's on the other side.
Yeah.
Middle school's on the other side. There's 2 sides, right? You're saying they ran by the music side.
Yeah.
On the other side of the music teacher and the so-called Chinese class, isn't that middle school? Mm-hmm. Not inside of the other building.
From the middle school through the elementary up the 3rd floor.
Huh? So? Hey, if they ran by the main
Principal's
person's office, then apparently it doesn't matter.
No one was in there today.
Doesn't matter. It still must not matter. Okay, if kids think that they can run by there, that means it doesn't matter.
True. True. Absolutely true.
My thing is having consistency in everything that's being done has not been done yet.
Yeah.
And they're just not ready for prime time. Can I say that again? I said it about the last school. They're just not. It's just not.
Yeah,
you know, and it's going to be years before this school is actually, doing what has become what were norms 20 years ago. This school has not begun that process yet. So educationally, teacher management wise, they're still trying to make teachers be like dock workers.
Yeah.
Sign in here. So I've never signed in an educational institution. Never. Why would I sign in? I'm supposed to be there at such and such time. I'm supposed to leave at such and such time. Okay. But they make it like a factory job. I've never done this before.
I'm trying to think if I've ever done that anywhere either.
Never. Because why would you? Most teachers are salaried.
I think I did.
So it doesn't matter. You're not an hourly employee anyway.
You can throw it. I think I did in the preschool, but that was only because initially I started out as a student teacher and I had to have my hours documented for school.
Yeah, but not as a professional.
No. I've never done it.
I mean, it's like not a thing that you do.
At the end of that semester, I never did it again.
You have a contract. You're supposed to have a contract. You have a contract. Your contract is there for a certain amount of hours per week. Usually as a teacher, you're working way more than that.
Yeah.
On a daily basis.
Yeah.
So nobody says anything because they rather those teachers keep working.
Yeah.
So everybody just kind of just lets the teachers leave them alone because they're already going to work more in their classroom. They're going to get there early. They're going to leave late. And then they're going to take work home.
Yep.
Why would you make them clock in twice? That's a factory worker. That's a blue-collar job. That's an hourly employee type thing. That's what I did at McDonald's.
Yep. Well, and
Burger King.
I've never worked in a situation where I didn't get a lunch.
Well,
like a designated time where I can go and eat uninterrupted without the...
Like I said, where are their labor laws?
I don't know.
Because they have them.
I'm sure
I've read them. They have them. But it doesn't seem like it matters here.
No.
But I'm wondering, see, this is a whole nother Mexico question. I'm wondering if any of that stuff has any bearing in any business.
That's a good question.
Maybe we should ask the lawyer tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Do the labor laws matter at this school? You're the lawyer.
Which apparently, according to the lawyer, my visa issue has to do with Tijuana.
Great.
That's what John said. That's what I was told. The problem is because of the Tijuana double stamp issue. They are trying to recover a paper from Tijuana, and this slowed the process. The lawyer is going to come and speak with you directly tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And the school will help you solve this problem. That's what he said in the end.
I'm telling you, it's just...
I've never had issues with visas before.
I don't.
Deep breaths.
I'm getting way past tired now.
It's funny,
I didn't tell you about calling the U.S. Embassy today. They literally laughed in my face. Like, I had them on speakerphone, and I was like, okay, so I was told I need to contact you about getting my Mexican visa renewed. And the lady's like, well, when was the last time you were in the States? And I said 7 years ago. And she's like, well, I'm sorry, but you can't get a visa to go back to the States. And I said, or no, she said, you're no longer a citizen. And I said, excuse me? And she said, well, you're no longer a citizen of the United States if you haven't been there for that long. And I said, but I'm an American. I hold an American passport. I was born there. She's like, oh, why are you calling us? And I said, because my Mexican visa is about to expire, my temporary residency, and I need to have it renewed. And my HR person told me I needed to contact you to get it renewed. And she just busted out laughing. And she was like, ma'am, we are the U.S. Embassy. I said, uh-huh. And she said, we don't have any jurisdiction over visas in Mexico.
Uh-huh.
I said, I figured as much, but I'm following up what I was told to do. I said, who should I contact? And she said, I'm going to transfer you to this department, and they can tell you where to go. Just don't mention that your visa's about to expire because they're going to send you back here. I said, okay. So she sent me over to the other department, and I said, can you tell me what I need to do to get a temporary visa for Mexico renewed? And he said, well, first of all, you can't do it here, but you have to go to this particular department in Mexico City. And I said, okay. I can just Google that? And he said, yep, just Google it, and you'll get their website. So I did, and I found the stuff on the website that said you have to have 30 days prior to your visa expiring in order to renew it inside of the country. Otherwise, you have to leave the country and do the whole entire process outside of the country to come back in, which takes anywhere from 5 to 10 business days to get it finished. I was like, okay, thanks so much.
A lot of this has to do with really piss poor communication and HR not being really human resources because it's not a resource.
No, because when I initially said, hey, my visa's about to expire, it was literally on the 30-day mark. That was my 30 days.
Yep. But that's irrelevant. We've been here since July.
June 29.
Okay. They knew about this problem in July.
Yep.
The lawyers have known about this problem since July.
Yep.
My visa's done.
Yep.
Okay. So where's the problem? Really? Sorry, but these are country issues, just like our kids. Our kids should not have to leave the country.
They shouldn't have to.
I'm legal. You're about to be illegal. They should be able to just be put on my thing as a dependent.
Yep.
It shouldn't be that hard. To come into the country, it had to be known that they were our children.
Yep.
When I said that to my boss, she was like, yeah. To come in, they had to be your children. So why is it such a hard thing? Why do I need to prove that they're my children? when they had to be my children from the fucking beginning.
Right. We have their birth certificates. We have their
It
passports.
doesn't make any sense. It's like what you're looking for a stamp on something that Americans don't have.
Right.
Because we don't follow that French thing.
Yep. And to get that particular stamp, it takes like 8 weeks and $400.
Yeah. And then whatever. And
the stamp is
I'm
only good for
getting
one
about
country.
Mexico the way I got about Freddie's movie. Okay?
Oh my.
The more I talk about it, the more I don't want to be here.
Okay, take a deep breath.
Because ain't no taco worth all this bullshit.
Not when I can make them at home.
You know what I'm saying?
Not when I do make them at home.
That's what I'm saying. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's like, why put yourself through all of this? And I'm sure that's what everybody probably thinks. Why put yourself through all of this for what?
Yep.
Like, where's the benefit?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yep. You need to either become a professor, a consultant, or a director.
Nah, man, I'm doing YouTube. Fuck that.
You're gonna YouTube.
I'm a YouTube and Instagram my way to fame and glory.
You already regularly podcast.
I'm gonna YouTubes. I'm gonna YouTubes.
Do it. You have all the.
I'm already YouTubing. My first vlog is on there. I just gotta do more. And I gotta find something interesting to talk about.
You could have some durian fruit.
Oh God, no. That's not a thing that I'm gonna do.
You might like it.
Yeah, right. I don't like anything that smells like ass. I only like ass that smells like ass.
It tastes like overripe onions.
That's not good.
Like your.
That's not good.
Stupid, nasty choto.
See? That's not good.
Stuff
None
is
of
so foul.
Yeah, I'm
It
sorry.
goes in your mouth for
If
weeks.
it smells really bad, I have no reason to eat it.
It's like, who came up with that? Who was like, here, let's do this thing and then put it in our face?
Yeah.
Who thought, let's take this gigantic spiky thing that hurts when you touch it, cut it open, it smells like death inside, so let's eat it.
Yep. That's it.
Make no sense.
That's what people have done. All right. You got anything else? No. Good. We're at the almost 2 hour mark.
Wow.
This is what happens when you don't podcast every day. You take a day off. You come back and you do double.
All right.
All right. So, if you want to find us on the YouTube, which if you're listening to this, you've already found us on the YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, iTunes, or the Spotify, you can find us at The Traveling Fars. If you like the Twitter and the Instagram, you can find us at Traveling Fars. If you like that email thing, which we still need more people to tell us about businesses that they want shouted out, we will shout them out as soon as you tell us about them. Hit us up at travelingfars@gmail.com. And the blog space is thetravelingfars.blueberry.net. No E's in the blueberry. And we will be back maybe tomorrow, but maybe not because we're going to go see a movie.
Yeah, we're going to go see Fantastic Beasts.
You know what? I'm really not excited about that now.
What?
I am so tired.
I'm so tired too. And I have a parent meeting tomorrow.
Oh, hell no. We ain't going. Nope. Ain't going to happen. Nope.
Why
Friday. No. We need to go on Saturday.
not? Okay.
No.
But I wanted to go.
No.
Sad bunny.
As soon as Friday hits the time to go, I am gone.
I'm a sad.
And you
sad
gon' schedule meetings on a Friday. You
Listen,
are
it's not
out
my
of
fault.
your mind.
It's not my fault.
No way. Time to go. Time for more Modelo. Cuervo. If it ends in O. I need to see it on Friday because usually on Friday, I'm like falling asleep at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, because, tired.
That's what I'm saying. No, and you're going to make me.
You want to go to a movie when everybody's tired?
Yes.
Yeah.
We did it when we went to see that terrible Freddie Mercury movie.
Oh, stop it. So we can go on Saturday
That bullshit.
at 12:50.
That's my subtitle. Bohemian Rhapsody, the Freddie Mercury story. That bullshit. that's it right there.
Friday.
Yeah, I think you need to pick Saturday, and we can go to the mall. We can go to the place, and maybe hit up maybe a lunch or dinner, or not a dinner. I don't like going late, but like a food thing after or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got one
like
at
that.
11:30.
They
got it at
I
11.
ain't going. No. I'm putting my foot down.
Okay, we can go at 11 a.m. on Saturday.
Okay. I get up at 5.
I get up at 6:30. Keegan's the only one we got to wrangle.
Huh?
Keegan's the only one we got to wrangle.
You ain't got to wrangle. You just roll her down the hill. It's on and popping. Let's go. She can sleep. We just roll her down the hill.
Saturday morning, 11 a.m.
All right, so we're gonna do another movie, and we're gonna have another review for you. Oh man, that gives me time. Maybe tomorrow I can watch the first one again.
Oh, we should all do that.
Because there's a lot about that I don't remember.
Well, remember anything that I was playing on my hard drive, it cut the last 20 minutes off, so.
You got a weird thing going on.
I know. I can't really get to the Plex from my iPad anymore. Yep, I have that same problem.
Can the people out there who manage the Plex server software help me out and make it so that I'm always staying signed in? Because that's where the problem is, I believe. I am not staying signed in. You guys can't get to it, but then you can't come up here and sign. Actually, you could sign in because it's just a click. It's not a credentials thing. It's literally you open up Plex and then it asks you what user do you want to be, and you just click on my name and then boom, it's done. Because that's all I ever do. Well, now you know, and no one's half the battle. G.I. fucking Joe.
The greatest American hero.
See, that's the drugs talking right there.
That's the 80s cartoons.
80s cartoons. 70s and 80s, best in the world. All right. Say goodbye to the people.
Bye, people.
Peace.